Ideas plus inspiration. That can do incredible things for your life and your career, your future, your health, parenting, every other situation. Ideas plus inspiration. Make the note, we need ideas for goals and plans to design our life for the future. But here's what else we need. Inspiration. Emotional vitality. Without that, the ideas won't progress very far. They may serve you to just get by, but I'm sure you haven't spent this kind of time to pick up ideas just to get by, but we want to be able to flourish. However, that is a human being's two major objectives, and you might make these notes. One is to survive. First, we must learn to survive. Second, then, we learn to succeed, which is beyond survival. But most people settle in just in sort of the survival mode, enough to get by. They've got all these resources to tap, and they don't tap them because, they're getting by. Their kids aren't starving. They got a roof over their head and some clothes to wear and food to eat. But to go way beyond that, to flourish, not just to survive, but to flourish. I'm sure that's what all of us are here for, to find more ideas on how to do that. Now, the idea part is fairly basic and upfront, and they're fairly easy to put forward. Here's what's a little more tricky, inspiration. Who knows why one's inspired and one is not inspired? Here's what I call it. It's a good thing to remember for the rest of your life. It's called the mysteries of the mind. And you'll be confronted with that forever, the mysteries. Here's what we have to do with most mysteries. Leave them mysteries. And learn to be curious instead of dismayed. Say, why is it this way? Say, I don't know. You get your own planet, you could rearrange it some other way. But on this planet, we seem to be guests. So you figure out how this one works, whoever set it up, right? Follow how it's been set up. Then if you get a chance for a planet, then you can rearrange the whole deal and say, well, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So if you ever get that chance, you can do that. But hey, on this one, it was prearranged before we dropped in here. But on the spinning planet headed somewhere, right? What is the deal? And part of it is a mystery. One of the mysteries, where did we come from? Where are we going? Some of those are a bit unfathomable. We try our best to understand. One writer said, what? We see through the dark glass. We think we've just about got it figured out, but it's a little hazy. It's a little dark. We can't see it quite as clear. But all of our lifetime, we keep searching for ways to see it better, see it better. Someday, hopefully, it'll all be clear. But some things are mysteries. I do a seminar like this, someone walks out and says, I'm going to change my life. Someone else walks out and says, oh, I've heard all this stuff before. Why two different reactions to the same seminar? Just make the note, it's a mystery. And I haven't tried to solve that. You say, well, I'm going to make everybody walk out and say, I'm going to change my life. See, no, you can't do that. It's going to be however it's going to be. And the key is to be curious and not dismayed. Let the mysteries be mysteries. Interesting story says the day the Christian church was started, a magnificent sermon was preached. And if you read the account of the sermon that was preached the first day the Christian church was started, it was a magnificent sermon. And it was a magnificent occasion. It said there was a multitude that heard this sermon, meaning what? A lot of people heard it. But there was an incredible variety of reaction of the people that heard the sermon. It said some that heard the sermon were perplexed. And I thought, wow, this looked like a pretty straightforward sermon to me. Why would anyone be perplexed? And here's the simple answer. They are the perplexed. And if you try to figure that out, you go crazy. And here's what I learned to do. Leave the perplexed perplexed. You can't straighten this out. It said some that heard this great sermon laughed at the speaker and mocked, laughed and made fun of him. I'd say, well, hey, this guy looked pretty sincere to me. Why would anyone laugh and mock? And it's a simple answer. They are the laughers and the mockers. And there's nothing you can do about that. You can't straighten it out. You can't turn it around. You just have to let be whatever is and let it be rather mysterious, but learn to be curious and not dismayed. Then it said some that heard this sermon didn't know what was going on. And they're easy to spot. They're usually saying, what's going on, right? They don't know what's going on. Somebody says, well, they should know. Well, your shoulds and shouldn'ts ain't going to affect it. It's like saying the sun should come up in the west. Say, no, you got to leave this stuff alone. Just let the mysteries be mysteries and let what happens. Let that all be. So some were perplexed, some mocked and laughed, Some didn't know what was going on, but here's the rest of the story. It said some that heard the sermon believed. And that's who the speaker was looking for, the believers, mixed in this whole mysterious array of human reaction to the same presentation. And you've just got to let this whole mixture of reaction be a mixture of reaction. And you can't be dismayed by it. Otherwise, the only cure for it is to get your own planet. Otherwise, there is no cure. Because I used to try to straighten all this stuff out. In the beginning, I used to say, I'll make them successful if it kills me. I almost died, right? You can't do that. So, it said some believed, and that's who the speaker was looking for, the believers out of this massive audience of a multitude. Now, here's what was interesting. It said the number that believed was about 3,000. So it was a pretty good first day. So make the note. You can have a good day in spite of the mystery. In spite of the mystery of reaction, in spite of who's who, in spite of what happens, in spite of the full variety of human reaction and human behavior, in spite of the whole mix in each community, in each place, in each school, wherever, in spite of this whole mysterious mix of how things are and how humans react and how they behave, here's what you can have: a good day. Amazing. So, let the mysteries be mysteries. But inspiration, hopefully I've caught you at the right time where you'll be inspired to listen, inspired to take notes, and then inspired to give it a try. And this is all I ask after the seminar's finished. Just try some of this stuff. You never know till you try, Papa said. See if it'll work for you. And then here's what's next. Refine it all as you go. First you learn, then you try, then you refine. Then you evaluate. Then you pass it on. Here's what else I hope you'll find: guidelines to translate response into results. I appreciate you responding by taking notes, responding by being here. But here's the key, is to turn response into results. I appreciate applause, but applause is not the deal. For me, here's what's valuable, is to have this stuff work in someone's life, to have it make a difference in someone's income, have it make a difference in someone's financial future, have it make a difference in someone's health, measurable difference in someone's future and health. That's my game. And if I can give you something that'll help make a measurable difference as time passes, see, that's what's it for me. Key phrase, results, is the name of the game. I do another seminar called The 5 Major Pieces. Here's those pieces. 1 is philosophy. We're affected by what we know. Next is attitude. We're affected by how we feel. 3rd is activity, or disciplines, or work, labor it's called. We're affected by what we do. And number 4 is results. Learn to measure and count to see how you're doing. Making progress is the name of the game. And here's how I describe it: measurable progress in reasonable time. Make measurable progress in reasonable time. But results is the name of the game. We don't study philosophy just for philosophy, or attitude just for attitude, or discipline just for discipline. These things by themselves serve no purpose. But these 3 items invested in labor, in the work, produces results. Now we measure our results to see how our disciplines are working, how our attitude is working, and how our philosophy is working. And if the results aren't to your liking, there's only 3 places to check: discipline, attitude, philosophy, personal philosophy. Pretty simple process. Some people check interest rates. Well, that's not where the real problem probably is. Check what you know. You may need more knowledge. Check how you feel. You may need to adjust your attitude. And check your disciplines, and you may need to add a couple to the ones you're already engaged in. And that'll start immediately to changing the results that you can measure, that you can count. And you might add one more word here: weigh. Weigh and count and measure. Because the game is productivity, progress and productivity. Then something we're going to talk about, which was number 5, which is lifestyle. Because here's the ultimate expression of life, and that's to live a good life. Living well is the ultimate expression, not philosophy, not attitude, but living well.